Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't have that much energy.
Oh,
Though you don't have it too.
I have lots of energy.
Sure.
All people can see is what's on the camera.
You drank one cola, that's...
I did. I drank a whole Coke out of a glass bottle. It was wonderful.
Good. Anyway, we're here to talk about Gen Con. This is the last Gen Con video.
The last Gen Con video.
Yes. About the last vlog video.
Got it.
Last vlog. Part. And there will be some other videos as well. It's not only the vlog, it's also few previews and also the wonderful match between Bruno and Theo, the playthrough of Nagaraja basically. So that's that. Anyway, we're here to talk about what was the last day and wrap up the Gen Con as a whole, and not to babble too much. So. No, the last day was, for me at least, was a day to just relax, talk to people who I'll see like last time in a year basically, and just, maybe film something, do some photos and such. So, but I got to play few things as well.
Yeah. For me, Sunday is the best day to do demos of popular games. There's fewer people there as a whole, and so you can usually get in that one demo that you wanted all week and couldn't quite get. Also, you'll find that if you're looking for bargains on games, that's the day for that. If you went over, for example, to the Yellow booth, they were selling games for $6, $8.
Really?
Yeah, they were trying to take down their stock of their not as popular games. I mean, the newest, hottest stuff wouldn't be at that price, but stuff that's a little bit older is there in the in the $5 to $10 range, and it took a good deal of self-control not to buy lots of things that I didn't really want just because they were cheap.
True that. So yeah, today I recorded the Wildlands. It's a new Martin Wallace game from Osprey Games. It's gonna be out in Essen. And probably in retail short after that. So this is gonna be a combat game. It looks like a dungeon crawl, but it is not. It's a simplified rules, just combat against each other, have some missions to do, but with symbols mostly, no dice. So it's all about the cards play in combat. So sounds really cool. You're gonna see a preview of that where Martin Wallace himself explains the game to the audience. So let's see when the video comes out. What else? Yeah, mostly a few photos and few talks with other publishers and so on. But what have we played so far? So I don't know.
Well, I think the first thing we tried was this new game from Days of Wonder
that we wanted to try the whole week.
River, yeah, and that one it was still a prototype copy. It's coming out. It's coming out in October or November, depending on when it's when it's ready. But ideally at the Essen Fair. It's a simple worker placement game. Very, very straightforward. You've got workers. You're placing them out to do different things. You have a river, hence the name, and all the tiles you select have to be placed along this river. And so there's some aspect of timing when you want to take something, because if you can score different sets of a column of the same type of landscape, that'll be worth bonus points for you.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. It seems like the kind of thing that a lot of people will like. I don't know that
it's the family type that Days of Wonders does.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to blow the doors off of anything.
No.
But it was enjoyable. Yeah. I could see myself enjoying it.
It was a nice touch, but the overall, the art and everything, the theme, it was like yet another themeless dry Euro. Though it was like on a family weight, it was interesting. I like the spots. The name of the game is The River. Try to find it on BGG. Thank you. No, but it isn't on BGG yet. That's why we didn't find it. But there are so many games with the word river in them, so it's not the best name. But I don't know. It's like when Days of Wonder the let's say small world and then Quadropolis and then 5 tribes. extremely different games.
Yeah.
You know, and they stand out. And this one was just.
Well, they've had a few lesser-known ones, though. For example, you don't see that many people playing Cargo Noir or Relic Runners.
Yeah, but they do.
Even though they looked
anyway.
gay, they looked nice, but they just didn't catch on. This isn't going to be the new Ticket to Ride, or Azul, or something that just everybody's buying. But I think it'll do well. I think it'll be welcome. I don't know that anybody will talk about it a year later, though.
Yeah, it's a forgettable game. Anyway, that's the one. The second one, I played only 3 games today, so let me just briefly go through that. So I played Race to the Newfoundlands, the one that I bought, the one that I had. No, I didn't have it on my Gen Con list because it was released before. I mean, like I didn't really anticipate it. I didn't even know if the English copies will be there. So. Anyway, Race to Newfoundlands, it's a new game from Hansen Gluck and Z-Man, the ones who made Russian Railroads, First Class, Carcassonne, and so on. So, all of these, and this is it's also like a dry-ish Euro game, where you have your nation board, and you gather ships, and the ships have those different symbols, like the strength in action, certain action. So you allocate your ships to those different spots on your player boards, and then you do the strength of the action. Because it's like if it's only one ship and it's a weak ship, then it will be a weaker action. And you basically gather resources, you trade resources in, you spend the resource in order to claim lands, and then you want to do some kind of area control on the map, area control on the other side where you claim those scoring tiles as well. So a little bit of that majority thing, and just gathering resources, a little bit trading, a little bit exchanging, and so on, and just managing the whole aspect, the whole grid and the whole engine of the boards. It's all about like get points here, there. So it's like not point salad, but kind of feels like that.
The name doesn't grab me. I was not involved in that play because I was doing something else at the time. But it seems okay, I guess. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I don't know that it's the top of any lists for me.
I played only like 2 rounds or something like that, 1 or 2 rounds, so I cannot really judge the game. Mm-hmm. This is kind of game that you need to play more than just 2 rounds, because you just start doing something and it's kind of, you don't really do anything yet. Mm-hmm. And then as you build up and you get maybe more opportunities, you can do more. So yeah, it's dryish, but it's from the same people, not the same people, but I mean, it towards that Russian Railroads and First Class, and I like those. So I'll keep the judgment, and when I play the full game, I might like it very much.
You might.
But this is like the one of those games where I usually tend not to like.
Well, you have been excited about that one, so I'm glad you got to try it. And you had one more you tried?
Oh yeah, the third one, which I was super excited about because I was during the trip. I saw that they announced this one is the Arkham Horror 3rd edition. So this is the old Arkham Horror made into new edition. It has blends from, it has parts from different Arkham Files games, like Arkham Horror itself, the 2nd edition. Then it has the Eldritch Horror parts, it has the LCG parts, it has a little bit of Mansion of Madness parts in it. So at least that's what they said. And I played only Eldritch, Elder Sign, LCG, and Arkham Horror itself. So I can see those things going on there, and it's streamlined. It has it has the story. What I didn't like about Eldritch was kind of, it's like some parts that Eldritch did fine for me, and I like Arkham Horror much more. It's kind of combination of those two, and makes the game even better. I like it very much. It's like the board is concentrated, and it's back to not the world, because it's so stupid to have like the whole world, let's say the whole world in Arkham Horror. No, I want to get the city. So it's get the city. You have those encounters still. A lot of that LCG feel to it. So I like LCG Arkham Horror very much. So I enjoyed it. It's hard to tell about it because I've played only a few rounds. So,
Well, that's one that I'll wait and see on. I liked Arkham Horror, but it grew too big. I like Eldritch Horror, but it's grown too big.
I think I will buy it when it comes out.
I like the LCG. Unfortunately, that one's still manageable, although there's not really any way to store the cards. But speaking of which, I have a box to store them sitting over there on the couch. But yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. I don't know that I'm going to rush out and beat down the doors to get it, but if it's great, I'll play it. If not, well, I played a lot of Arkham Horror back in the day.
Yeah, I love Arkham Horror, so it reminded me of that same game, but in a new vibe and a much better vibe. So it's a must-buy for me, at least.
All right. Well, on to what I played. I played a lot of games today. Some of them were not good, and some of them were amazing. So let's start with a not good one. That was Pocket Ops. It's an older game, I think, but I don't know how new it is. But it's basically tic-tac-toe with guessing. It was about as much fun as tic-tac-toe with guessing could be. It was fine, but I didn't really think it was all that noteworthy. Basically, the only difference between it and normal tic-tac-toe is if you guess the spot your opponent's going to go into, then your opponent doesn't go there and basically forfeits his turn. So it's tic-tac-toe plus lose a turn. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not for me, but okay. Then I played Unreal Estate, which was right next to Pocket Ops, and I thought, okay, I kind of like the name, but it was fine. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. You're collecting cards and then trying to score them at the right time, and the scoring is based on what's out there on the table, and that will grow each round. It's also not that new of a game, but I hadn't played it before. So I tried that. I liked it. I didn't think it was amazing, but it was fine. I also played a very short, light little dexterity game called Catch the Moon. You're stacking ladders. Basically, you've got these ladders, you roll a die, think like Animal Upon Animal, showing you what you're supposed to put in, and that shows you how many ladders you're supposed to be touching with the ladder piece you place.
It's a French game, isn't it?
It's really very light. I would have bought it if it had been there. I mean, they were already sold out by the time I got there, but yeah, I really liked it. I like that sort of dexterity game anyway. I think it would work well with my kids at church. I think it was a good production. Catch the Moon. Again, it's not going to replace your favorite dexterity game if you already have one, but I enjoyed it.
I would love to try it.
Mm-hmm. Then came another strange game. I had stopped by the Grey Fox Games booth to see if they had any previews for their new game, which was like Reavers of Midgard or something like that. But they didn't, or at least I didn't see one. And as I was there, I noticed some gentlemen wearing cheerleading outfits with their skin painted green. And I had to in the next booth, and so I walked over, and they were playing a game called Ogre Cheerleaders. And Ogre Cheerleaders is a ridiculous game where you're just basically playing cards on the table and trying to get certain patterns and then collect them. Very simple. It was cheap, though, and it looked like they hadn't sold very many, so I bought one. It was enjoyable. It made me smile. I don't think it's even the best small card game that you'll ever see, but I liked it. I've got a copy over there, but it's too far to reach. It's just a small box. Artwork is just so-so. It looked very much like an independent production. Mm-hmm. But hey, Ogre Cheerleaders, why not? And they did a great job selling it. They were really excited about. And every time you made a good, play on your turn, they would cheer you on. So
that's cool.
Kudos to them for selling their game.
Yeah, at least if you believe in your product, why not?
Yeah, well, they
sometimes if you believe in a product, it doesn't mean that the product is good.
True, but it wasn't terrible. I played worse games. I've played worse games that have looked better. So, all right. Then I tried. So one of those big games that came out this year that was sort of advertised everywhere, but you never heard anybody talking about, was Dark Legacy, and this is by Upper Deck, and it's really kind of a two-player card game RPG. Think of like your Magic the Gathering type with some RPG elements, and you're rolling dice so that you don't know, you might have the greatest attack in the world set up, but it will fail if you roll wrong. It seemed nice. It's exactly the kind of game I like, but I just thought that maybe it would be the kind of game that nobody around here would want to play with me, and so I didn't end up buying it, although I was tempted to. I had it in my hands a couple of times. But then I thought about my suitcase. I might order it eventually online. I enjoyed it. It's not very long. It looks like it has a lot of promise. There's sort of some aspects of it where you can always play whatever cards you want. If it's higher than you're supposed to use, you can sort of focus for a while on it and then be able to use it later. There's some interesting, almost area, I don't know what you'd even call it, but when you summon a creature, you have to summon it into a certain spot, and that spot is also the spot that you use to do instant magic or different kinds of spells. And so if you have something there that's not very useful anymore, you can't get rid of it and it's blocked you up. So it's an interesting game. I don't know that it's going to replace... It's a very crowded field, that sort of head-to-head game. There are some that I like a lot more already. I like Ashes. I like, what's that one? Codex. Those sort of card games. And this one, I don't know if it's going to be enough to work its way into that field, but I'll give it a try someday once it's more widely available.
Right.
All right. Then we played a game that I disliked called Flotsam Fighter. It's from Oink Games, and I usually like their stuff, but this one, I don't know. The guy who was demoing it looked like he was asleep. The other girl who worked at the booth, I don't think she spoke any English because she only communicated with hand signals. And the rules weren't explained that well. But basically, you're playing cards and you're trying to get rid of them on these spots, and it's based on the factors of that card. So, for example, a 56 can go on the 7 pile, or the 8 pile, or I guess the 4 pile. But you have to put them down in order, and you're trying to get rid of all your cards. And the first person to do so gets 2 points, and the person with the highest card remaining loses a point. It wasn't all that great. It was nothing special. Lots of their games are really interesting and are unique and do something really clever with a small footprint. And this one did not fit that bill. That was a thumbs down for me.
This wasn't clever enough.
It wasn't. It was boring, and it might have been the demo.
Okay. Yeah.
And anyway, so that's the last bad game I have to talk about. So now we'll talk about 2 good games that I played. First was Comatose.
Oh, I did a preview for that as well.
You did a preview for it, and I sat down for the playthrough.
With Jerry himself.
And Comatose is great. Comatose it's been described as sort of an adult version of, let's say grown-up, not adult. A grown-up version of Stuffed Fables. It's not an adult novel. It's not dirty.
It's plus.
Yeah. It's not, it's fine. It's family friendly. But
yeah.
Basically there's this super genius who developed a device that will save the world, but then he went into a coma and the device has malfunctioned. And so you're a team of people who have transported themselves into his consciousness to try and fight his inner demons and help him to wake up from his coma. But of course, because you can't just walk into his mind, if he doesn't know you, that would cause him to freak out and have a breakdown and die. So your various figments of his imagination or memories from his childhood. So, the one guy at the table was this gigantic clay golem, and I was this little girl, and somebody else was this robot thing. And based on what you are, that causes you to have suspicion on you in different areas of the game. So a giant clay golem walking around is always suspicious, whereas the little girl, she fits in almost everywhere. And there was one guy, when you die, you become somebody else, and he died and became this black and white lady, and she wasn't suspicious anywhere except in the future world, where being black and white would be suspicious. So that, those thematic things are interesting. But it's very much like Stuffed Fables. If you like that game, you'll probably like... If you liked that game and wanted a more adult story, then this one's definitely for you. You draw dice out of the bag the same way. You don't roll them. You use them to do your different actions. Like red actions are attack, yellow actions are discovery, blue actions are defense. And the bad guys sort of come out in the same way. And you're playing through a series of episodes, and that will take you on through the next path. And I don't know more because we just played the one first episode. But I really liked it. So that's one that it's coming out in December, he said. And it's not going to have the minis that Stuffed Fables does, but it's going to have some 23, 24 characters, which Stuffed Fables doesn't, as in playable characters. So I guess that's the trade-off there. Mm-hmm. But it looks good. The production looked nice. The rules seem even more streamlined. It looks like he took some things he learned from Stuffed Fables and scaled those back just a little bit, and has made an even better game, and I think it will do really well.
Sounds really nice. I'm super excited about this one. It's probably the same thing I thought. It's like, I wanted to get Stuffed Fables for a while, and then I heard about Comatose, and I was like, oh, maybe this is the one that I should get and forget about Stuffed Fables, you know.
Well, I like Stuffed Fables, but the story is more kid-friendly.
I don't want too many similar type games. It's like if I had Mice and Mystics and Stuffed Fables and that one, they're kind of different, but they're like kind of the same niche, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, on one hand, though, each one will take several hours to play through. So if you played through Stuffed Fables and then gave it to somebody else and got Comatose, they don't really overlap in story, so you can think of it as 2 episodes. Although I don't think they're going to be related at all. I think they're very different, distinct entities.
Okay, so what else did you get?
The last one I played was Guardians, which was my #1 most anticipated, most excited about game for Gen Con. I bought it, I got in the line to buy it because there were only 100-some copies. And
140.
And so I was glad I got a copy, and I finally got to sit down and play it, and it was fantastic. It lived up to all of my expectations and exceeded them. I can see a ton of depth, a ton of possibilities in the game. Basically, in the box set, you've got 10 heroes, and each hero has its own deck. And so you sort of select, I think you'll select 8 of the 10 heroes, or maybe there's 11 or 12. I don't know how many there are. Anyway, you'll select 8 in the game, 4 for each player, and then you'll mix up their decks. And so your deck of action cards is going to be different based upon the heroes that you chose. After that, it's just moving around. You're positioning them on these bases, almost like a smash-up type style, except you've only got one. You've only got these 3 heroes. I guess you're only taking 3, and you can attack each other. But if you attack, then you exhaust yourself, and if the other person hasn't exhausted, they gain a control point on that base. And when you've got this little track, and it's sort of like a tug-of-war track, and when it gets over to your side, at the end of your turn, you'll score that base. And if you get 9 base scoring points, they're worth different amounts, from 1 to 3, I think, then you win. And so there's interesting tactics there. You're also charging up your special attacks, and you can only use the special attack once per game, and only once it's charged up. I ended up winning the game because of the right timing of my special attack for one of the characters. It was a lot of fun. I mean, if you like that head-to-head type game, but aren't looking for your Summoner Wars board, very tactical board movement, and aren't looking for that head-to-head summon a wall of creatures that you have in your Ashes or your Codex type games, then this is sort of that third type of a 2-player head-to-head game. It doesn't quite feel like anything else, and I really quite liked it.
Yeah, it sounds like a game I don't need at all.
But I'm hoping that I can train some people around here to play it with me.
Yeah.
So
you can train as many people as you want, not me.
I'll have to have Victor come. Victor will play
Victor,
with me.
yes. You can have Victor to play. Thankfully. No, I just... This game is just...
And I think I don't care. It's a great game. And it looks great. The artwork is fantastic. I don't know who they're doing for their art these days, but whoever it is doing a good job. I know that Fernanda moved on and isn't doing art for them anymore, but whoever they've gotten to replace her is at a similar talent level.
Yeah.
So
these are all the games that we played so far.
Those are all the games.
So wrap up at Gen Con. Expectations, failures, and so on. We talked about the games very much. So I didn't expect much from Gen Con. I've been there before, working at the booth. This one was different. I was a tourist, so just roaming around, seeing, playing demos, buying games, like a usual convention visitor, like in Essen. My overall opinion, my overall verdict is that Essen is much better for me. That's my convention. Like I can clearly see why I like Essen more is because, first of all, twice as many releases, so there's much more excitement, many more exciting releases than in Gen Con, because most publishers cannot get it in time for Gen Con, they push it for Essen. The other thing is that I like how many publishers and different diversions of publishers. I mean, like from all the worlds coming over there. Gen Con is also big, but it's too concentrated. I like different halls. This one is like one big hall, and for me it's like just one. Yeah, it becomes boring when it's one big hall. I don't know why, but it's like it's my feel. When Essen has many huge different halls, and you go to that hall because you have those publishers over here. You go to that hall because you can do that thing over there. It kind of feels like refreshing, like differentiating halls. Plus, I like talking. I like talking to publishers, seeing old friends who I see once a year. I like recording stuff and doing stuff for the channel and so on. So for me, it's not only like buy games and play demos. In Essen, I barely play anything except maybe in the hotel in the evening. So I mostly buy and I record and talk to people. And this one seemed to be too, I don't know, too tight and very busy, and I couldn't do much of, relaxing and talking. Yeah.
I had a great time at Gen Con. I was told myself I wasn't going to buy any games. I, of course, did buy some, quite a few. Even today, when I said I wasn't going to anymore, I did the things I always like to do. I played a lot of games. I tried a lot of things. I sort of saw what was coming out, saw what I liked, what I didn't. I went and ate my favorite shrimp cocktail. You had your large steak.
Oh, yes.
There's a
Huge
steakhouse that's right across the street from the convention center that has just the tastiest shrimp cocktails. It has this cocktail sauce that has all this horseradish and garlic in it, and it's really quite good. And the steaks there are really good, and they're normal steakhouse sizes.
So basically, what I like for Europeans, usually the portion of a steak is 180 grams to 200 grams. This steak was 400 grams. It was twice as big. So, you have side dishes as well. You have something else as well. So it's like extremely big and wow, too much of a steak. But it was really, really good. It was really
too much of a steak.
Yes.
Well, I always look forward to it. When I think of Indianapolis, I think of that restaurant because it's just sort of associated with the Gen Con experience for me. So I was glad I got to go there, and I'm glad you put up with the idea.
I still enjoy my overall experience, like with the food and everything, and with Gen Con overall because it's vacation for me from a ton of work in Tallinn. So I liked it all. It's not as exciting for me. I don't know why.
Well, it certainly was exhausting.
Exhausting too, yes.
I'm the kind of person where I like being around people, but being around so many people, and there were a lot of people at Gen Con, and being around an area that's just that crowded and concentrated, and it's going to be nice to be back into my office where I can sit in my own space and just work quietly for a few days. That's going to be quite nice. What did you think about the... I warned you about the... about how some people might be larger at Gen Con. Did you spot any people like that?
No, I mean, like, I told you that I've seen it a year ago as well.
That's right, you were there, but...
Yeah, I didn't expect anything else.
Okay.
It just, but it's in every convention, some people need to work on their hygiene.
Oh my goodness. I can't do it anymore.
If you sweat that much, if you're a bigger person who sweats a lot, you need to look after your hygiene. That's
I've gotten to the point where I can't even. You could always tell when I smelled somebody because I was. I mean, nobody's perfect, but there were some people there who were far from it.
Yeah, like they probably like sweating for 7 days and then getting in and whatever. So but let the negative go right now. It doesn't matter for now. So nothing else to say. Just watch the videos.
I played a lot of games. I'm so proud of myself playing so many new games.
And I bought quite a few games.
You did. You bought a few.
I wanted to buy like 5 games. But I got few review copies, so
that's true.
And even today I got the though the prototype, I got the what's it called, the combo fighter,
which is amazing.
I got the 4 decks, so I can mix and match because it's a 2-player game. So I can play a few of these decks and review the game as well. So
yep,
that's that.
And I bought a lot of games. I played. I think I played most of the games I bought though, either before or after buying them. But there were a few games that I wanted that I was not able to get. I probably could have gotten if I had wanted to fight with people and push forward and get right in the line.
Yeah.
But they'll be available in the next month or two, and so I'll just order them then. That's Forbidden Sky I was very interested in. Gizmos and Newton from Simon I was very interested in. And there were some others that I would have bought if they had been sitting there.
All right.
But since they weren't, I didn't.
So, anyway, it's getting too long as always, so...
Too long?
Yeah, then you can turn it off like earlier. So, anyway, thanks for watching. This was the last video, and...
The last video ever.
I mean, like, maybe we'll do one Google Hangouts where we go through our top 10 that were most anticipated and see what happened to them.
Our reaction to the top 10? Okay, that'd be a good idea.
Or, I mean, like, let's give each other some time to play some of the games that we got, so we can kind of compare and see, like, oh, this...
So you're thinking about 7 months?
I don't know.
I will have played all of the games I bought by the end of the month.
So, yeah.
But...
yeah, I would have some problems. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching. We'll see you another time. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take a look at all the social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, because I posted a ton of pictures. I'm going to post all the pictures on the Facebook page, Würfel Reviews. Go there, look at 100 pictures or so. Yeah, it's just cool to see all the different games, colors, people, and so on. I try to film everything. So anyway, yeah, that's it from me. Thanks.
All right. Goodbye.
We see you then.
Ogre Cheerleaders.
Woo! This channel is sponsored by Osprey Games. Check them out at ospreypublishing.com.